Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Danae Wolf, and I'm a financial clarity coach and a profit strategist, which means I help ambitious entrepreneurs like you increase your profits and decrease your stress by taking control over the money in your business so it can stop controlling you. If you are someone who is really ready to finally feel that financial freedom that we are all chasing, I strongly encourage you to take a look at my group program, Profit Perfect. Profit Perfect is your one-stop shop to all things small business finance. But here's the best part, guys. It is actually outlined in an easy to follow manner, and everything is done as simplistically as possible. This is not the accounting your CPA studied in school. No, my friends. This is entrepreneurial accounting. And you know what entrepreneurial accounting is about? Making money. And that is why you guys definitely want to check it out. I will link it below. It is called Profit Perfect. There are 5 modules that'll walk you through everything from LLC formations, S Corp elections, how the heck do taxes actually work, how the heck does QuickBooks actually work. All the things are in there. I'm super proud of it. And here's a really great piece of the course. Every week, all of my students are invited to a Zoom call with me where you can ask me any of your burning financial questions. So let's say you guys sign up for the course and you take it this summer and you've got a question next year at tax time. Great. Hop into the weekly Zoom and ask away. You will always have access to me on those weekly Zoom meetings. So shameless plug here, but I got to do it. I'm passionate about my program. I absolutely love teaching financial literacy. So check it out in the link below. Now, for today's totally free training, we are talking about how to avoid overpaying your taxes. Now, I get asked this all the time. How do I pay less in taxes? How do I pay less in taxes? So I know it's going to be a topic that a lot of you guys are curious about and excited to dive into. And if you are here with us right now, drop it in the comments. If you're watching later on the replay, go ahead and type #replay. All of this just helps our algorithm, which helps us get this content out to more entrepreneurs. And I'm a little biased, but I think it's obviously great content in my opinion, because I think that entrepreneurs should know this stuff, right? Knowledge is power, guys. So let's help spread that power. And if you're listening on the podcast over on Apple Podcasts, The Profit Factor, do me a favor, just leave a review, right? Subscribe and leave a review. All of these things help me get these free trainings into as many hands as possible. Now, if you are here today to learn how to avoid overpaying your taxes, then grab a pen and paper because we are diving in. Because I come from a place, if you guys follow me, I come from a place where I always say, I want you to pay exactly what you owe in taxes and not a penny more. So I'm not that girl who's going to be like, I don't want you to pay taxes. I want you to avoid paying taxes at all costs. No, I believe people who make money pay taxes. Profitable businesses pay taxes. Taxes is a part of life. However, I want you to pay the taxes you rightfully owe. And I want you to use all of the legal resources at your disposal to ensure that you don't pay a penny more than you owe. So when it comes to avoiding overpaying your taxes, my number one tip, guys, you must have accurate bookkeeping, okay? The dreaded B word. You have to have your books in order. I think so often as entrepreneurs, we just get so wrapped up in the day-to-day, right? We're so busy. We're managing our team. We're managing ourselves. We're trying to wear all the hats and do all the things. And bookkeeping often gets pushed to the side. And I think a huge reason why it gets pushed to the side is because many entrepreneurs don't understand the significance of it. So they think it's just something that they need at tax time. But I tell you guys all the time, your books tell the story of your company, okay? Numbers don't lie. We need accurate bookkeeping in order to make strategic decisions in our business. And we need to know that the bookkeeping is accurate so we can make sure that we're paying the correct amount of taxes. If your bookkeeping is not accurate, you could very well overpay taxes. Because let's say you take cash, right? And you go buy some business expenses, right? Or business materials, anything that you need for your company. And if your bookkeeping is not accurate and up to order and you're trying to catch it up months later, you might forget that you spent, $100 in cash at Staples buying some office expenses, right? So because you don't have a bookkeeping system in place, you miss out on tax deductions. Well, if we miss out on tax deductions, we're going to pay more in taxes, and we don't want to do that. So it's really important that you guys have accurate bookkeeping. If you are enrolled in my course, Profit Perfect, it teaches you how to do your bookkeeping. You are going to have a whole library full of QuickBooks Online tutorials, which is my absolute favorite bookkeeping software. But guys, if you are not ready to dive into using a software, you can use a spreadsheet. Okay, you can totally use a spreadsheet. I've got a great one that I'll link below as well. But if it's just not your thing at all, hire someone. You can hire me. My company does bookkeeping services. But I just want you to come from a place of understanding that bookkeeping is integral to the success of your company. And when it comes to avoiding overpaying taxes, accurate bookkeeping is legit the number one thing that you can do for your company. Now, the second thing that you can do to avoid overpaying Uncle Sam is to separate your personal and business transactions. This is something that I see happening all the time, okay? So business owners will purchase business expenses, so business supplies or pay for something for their company out of their personal checking account. And then they'll pay for something that's for personal use out of their business checking account. We don't want that, okay? Division of church and state. You want to keep everything absolutely separate. Now, some of you might say, well, instead of my business paying me, I just used my business debit card at the grocery store, right? And that counted as my pay. No, okay? Big no, guys. What you want to do is hop on your phone really quick. If you're out and about and you realize you need money from your business, get on your phone. I promise it'll take you 45 seconds. You're just going to make a transfer from your business checking account to your personal checking account, and then you can use your personal debit card. But you always want to have that separation and division. It actually gets into something that is a little bit deeper and not the core topic of today's video, but it can pierce the corporate veil, which is going to cause you potentially to lose the legal protection you have from forming your LLC in the first place. So we want to make sure we are keeping everything separate. And when we do that, it makes our number one way, it makes it that much easier. Because when you are trying to get your bookkeeping done for your business, imagine that you not only have to get the bookkeeping done for the business checking account, but now you've got to dive into all of your personal account transactions and see if you can pick out any business ones. You've got to get into all of your personal credit card statements, and you've got to think about all the cash that you've used, right? That is too much. And I believe my motto, guys, always keep it simple, right? Keep it simple. We can get a little flirty and say keep it simple and sexy, but KISS, right? Keep this simple. Business finances is already complicated, right? So if I'm telling you your number one way to avoid overpaying taxes is to have accurate bookkeeping, that means we've got to make sure the books are up to date and accurate. So why would we want to make that job harder if that's your number one job, is to have accurate bookkeeping, right? So we want to make the process of doing our books as simplistic as possible. And a great way to do this is to keep our personal and business transactions separate. The next tip, okay, tip number 3 to avoid overpaying your taxes, pay your quarterly taxes. Now, I know this is something that there can be a lot of confusion around, and I will tell you, we've got a training video coming down the pipeline for this in a couple of weeks where I'm going to break it down for you and give you a step-by-step guide on how to pay your quarterly estimated taxes. But essentially, guys, let me give you the Cliff Notes version right now. As a business owner, you are responsible for paying taxes each quarter. Now, back in your days of being an employee, every time you got paid, your employer deducted taxes from your check and paid them and filed them on your behalf. Now, as a business owner, you are your own employer. So you are responsible for paying these. So what happens is you need to have accurate bookkeeping so that you can know what the profit of the business is, so that you can submit your estimated quarterly tax payments. And what I do want to highlight is the minimum that you have to pay in order to avoid having interest and penalties added to your tax bill. The minimum you have to pay is what you paid last year. So let's say that last year you paid $4,000 in taxes for the year. That means that this year you have to pay a minimum of $1,000 per quarter, because in order to avoid any type of fees, you have to pay the minimum of what you paid the year prior. Now, I believe rather than making an estimated payment and paying just what you paid last year, let's do it all in real time. So if you have accurate bookkeeping, you're actually able to make that estimated quarterly tax payment an accurate tax payment as opposed to an estimation. But at minimum, guys, you want to pay what you paid the previous year, because if you don't do that, you're going to get fees added onto your tax bill. So many entrepreneurs are just overpaying their taxes because they're getting a hit with these fees. And I think a lot of it does come from just this overwhelm of being like, I don't know how to file and pay my estimated quarterly, so I'm not going to do it. And that's why like I said, don't worry, guys, I got you covered. In a couple weeks, we've got that training coming. And here's the best part. It's not that hard. I promise. Okay. Not that hard. But this is something I want handled for you guys, because it's just a silly thing to pay fees on. And if you're just like, yeah, no, not going to do it, guys, outsource it. Outsource it. Okay. Because there's no reason to ever pay Uncle Sam a penny more than you owe him. And this is a really easy way to ensure that. All right. Another way to avoid overpaying in taxes: have a retirement account. Instead of paying Uncle Sam, pay yourself. Okay. When you're older, you will thank yourself for doing this. But a lot of times, if you're able to just sit back and look at the profit of your business, you can make a much better plan rather than just taking a percentage of it and giving it directly to Uncle Sam. Let's give a percentage of it back to you so that you can retire nice and comfortable. Which leads me to my final tip, which is make sure to hire a tax strategist, not a tax preparer. And I did a video a couple of weeks ago about this, and we can link it below. But there is a difference, okay? When you hire someone simply to file your taxes, it is really plug and play, right? It is data entry. They are simply making sure that your tax return is filed accurately and on time and everything is compliant. But when you hire a tax strategist, they are looking at it through a completely different lens. Their goal is to make sure you pay as little tax as possible by making smart strategic moves, such as having a retirement account. Now, I will not sit here on this platform and tout myself as a tax strategist at all, but I have done enough research and due diligence to tell you some common things that if you are interested in looking to lower your tax payment, you should look into. So number one, look into the Augusta rule. This is something that allows your company to rent your home from you, and it can save you literally thousands in taxes. Also look into the home office deduction if you do in fact work from home some days or all days. Look into car and travel deductions. Okay. You guys would be surprised to know that if you do go on a vacation, if a portion of it was spent on business, you are able to take that portion of the total expenses of the trip. So these are some things that I tend to find people are not very well versed in. And my suggestion, okay, hashtag disclaimer, I am not your tax preparer, so this is not legal advice. But my suggestion is to speak with your tax preparer and flat out ask them, are you a strategist or simply a preparer? And say, are you familiar with the Augusta rule? How do you handle home office deductions? How do you handle car and travel deductions? You want to educate yourself enough to be able to hold a conversation with these professionals so that you can really make a decision as to who is the right fit for you and who is going to help you make and keep more money, because that is the goal that we are all trying to achieve as entrepreneurs. So I hope that this video helped you, even if I could help just one person avoid overpaying taxes. And remember, I don't want you to underpay them, right? I want you to pay exactly what you owe. And there are a lot of ways, such as what I've outlined here in this video, to ensure that you never pay Uncle Sam a penny more than you owe him. If you guys want more tips and tricks like this, please subscribe to my podcast on Apple Podcasts or my YouTube channel, Danae Wolf. And you guys check me out on Instagram, The Chic CFO, TheChic CFO. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I will be here again next week with another free training that I hope